Bing. This is my wife. My wife is here, Mika.
Hello.
Don't tell him your real name.
I'm not.
You get hate mail.
Okay.
So we have some advice. Now, if you look back on our series of RVing to Alaska on a budget, at the very beginning, you could see I was doing things like beefing up the suspension and, you know, welding stuff or bouncy stuff. Okay, look, if you're gonna go to Alaska, now there's a ton of ways to get to the border, and then when you go from the Canadian border through Canada to Alaska, there's really only a couple of ways that you can go. Really, there's one way, the Alaska Highway. You get up the road to Alaska starts in Dawson Creek. And that goes basically a road that you have to take for 1,400 miles. And that road sucks ass, man. It is a tough road. It's mostly paved, ton of potholes, ton of frost heaves, because the road, you know, it ends up, it's bridge construction. A lot of it's gravel. Not that it's supposed to be gravel, they just haven't paved it yet in those spots. They spend all summer working on this road because every year it freezes solid. And then trucks, it's the ice road, like ice road truckers.
It just gets so damaged that they have to work on it every summer.
And the water gets in the potholes and it freezes and expands, and by the time spring comes and it all thaws out, it's an absolute piece of shit. So I would say if you wanted to go to Alaska, probably go later in the summer. You know, you're not going to get stuck in Canada because of weather, or anywhere really in Alaska, you know, in September or October probably. So I would say if you went on the Alaska Highway and through Canada, if you did it in like August or September, chances of them being done with the work that they're doing on the road, because they only have so many months to do it, and they do it every year. There's Pepper. I just elbowed her in the face, which is basically what I did the whole trip. She likes to lay up on the console, and every time I put my arm on my armrest, she had a little face there, so she took Daddy's elbow, like, I don't know, man, 42 times or so.
Well, she wasn't smart enough to move, so whatever.
Golly, I really got to watch what I almost say on these things, man. You know how many times we have to reshoot these videos because I'm inappropriate in some way, shape, or form?
A lot.
Yeah, twice per, at least.
Yeah.
So the road, I didn't know before when I was doing all these modifications. I got like 6 or 7 modification videos that I did before we even left, and that was without the knowledge I have now. And you know, those were all smart things to do. The road is tough, man. Don't go with some bullshit tires. I mean, if you're going to go to Alaska, put brand new tires on your car, and don't put like the Walmart entry-level tire. Get a 10-ply good tire with extra sidewall and stuff like that, because the road sucks. Also, if you're driving an RV and you're towing something behind your RV, take protection for the headlights, the blinkers, the grill, the windows. My dad busted a window out of his Jeep. Not even the windshield, like a side window in the back. How that happened, I don't know. But I had to lend him a piece of Luan board from under our bed on the trailer to cover that up. I wonder if I'll ever get that back. I guess technically it's his. I'm not done paying for the trailer.
So you just really have to be prepared. Tires, everything.
Right, and or you can take your chances. But here's the deal. Like, one of the first signs we saw once we got on the Alaska Highway was no cell service the next 230 miles. And so there's not a shoulder. This road is a road. It is paved mostly, except for where they're doing construction, and so there's not a shoulder, and you can't pull off on the grass because the road has been built up and up and up over all these years. It's probably 4, 5, 6 feet down, and I mean you can't. The shoulder is non-existent. I mean, it's wide enough for a bicycle. You know, that's what was weird. In the middle of frickin' nowhere, there was a lot of people riding their bicycles, like loaded down, saddlebags on the front, saddlebags on the back, wearing a backpack. Like these guys are riding from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles. Crazy people, man. So the shoulder is about that wide. As a matter of fact, not even that wide, because we had to get in the other lane a lot to pass these guys. So if you break down, there's nowhere to pull over.
And there's no cell service.
There's no cell service. So if something happens because you were ill prepared, see, this is not something I did kind of think about it because we took we had walkie-talkie, but we also had a CB, because I know most emergency services and stuff like that monitor channel 9, but the max output on that is like 8 miles, 9 miles, maybe 10 miles. It's nice and flat, but so I was kind of prepared in case something happened. But man, there is nowhere to pull over. There's nowhere to do anything. And say you get a flat or breakdown or something and you pull over as much as you can. We saw lots of vehicles pulled over that were unattended, that were not completely out of the road, because that was just as far as they could get off the road. And I guess if you have food and shit in your car, man, the bears will come out and tear into your car, man, while you're gone. It is wild. It is wild, and it is middle of nowhere, and there is nothing. So if you broke down, but most of the people driving on this road, they're going to see you on the side of the road. We stopped a couple of times for people that needed help, and actually we were able to get a couple of people back on the road, which is great. Always stopped. Hey, are you okay? I got help coming or whatever. But most of the cars that we saw on the side of the road were unattended. And I'll be honest with you, on the way back, because you have to come back the same way you go, more or less, it's the only road. Some of those cars were still there. So you might be able to get a ride from somebody that'll take you to the next place, but it's not a town, it's just a place. And then you're without your cars. You may not even be able to spend the night there. There may be nowhere for you to spend the night. Your car's way back over there. It's crazy. I don't know how that would work out. I'm glad we didn't have to find out. But you can't use your cell phone. You can't get a tow truck. And even the next place is not guaranteed to have anything. Even food or water or anything. It's a very, very desolate place, and you just, if you go, you need to be prepared for these things.
I mean, it's wilderness. It
is wilderness.
A lot of wilderness with not a lot in between.
1,400 miles of wilderness. So there's that. We were prepared. That's good. I would take communication device other than cell phone. I would take more than you think you need. I mean, if you got, honestly, if you had a flat or you broke down, you could be on the side of the road for hours before you saw another car. It could happen. So you got to have food and water, and it'd be like if you were going out on a hike in the forest or in the woods. You got to take stuff that you need for your hike, but you also got to have that extra supply of things to survive, literally survive, in case something happened. And with all the road construction and stuff, I would say probably a better time to go would be like leave mid-August. Depends on how long you're going to be gone. Being gone August and September would be cool, because maybe the roads would be done,
And what way you're going as far as where you're going to cross the border into Alaska.
2 ways.
Because one of the places, it's only open through the end of September, I believe.
That's right.
So, if you went later in the summer, you'd have to plan for that.
Also, man, the beginning of August is like when, and now, It's like August 5th or 6th or 7th, or I don't know what today is. But now is the time that the salmon are swimming upstream, and it's all the streams and rivers in Alaska, bro. The bears are out there just yanking salmon out of the river. So now would be the time to go. So that's really all we got to say about how did it get to 10 minutes? Just talking about how shitty the road is and how prepared.
Shitty.
and how prepared you should be for it. That's what this is about. Just the roads are terrible. It is very desolate, and you should be absolutely prepared and or over prepared for that. And the later in the summer you go, the more likelihood that there's not going to be a ton of construction on the road like there was when we went. It was pretty rough. And yeah,